So, Adam, tell me about this show of yours. It's absolutely amazing. Watched the first two episodes last night. Incredible.
Awesome. Yeah, so we're a little family unit, and we kind of come together because Josh, well, who plays Nicholas, he and his family sort of like have a tragic loss of their dad, and then he sort of steps up to be the legal guardian and like is very ill-equipped to do this job, but he tries his best, which is what matters, and which I think ultimately is what makes me like my character fall in love with him. So my character's name is Alex, and we start dating, and I sort of like help him out, even though he's like maybe trying his best. I'm also even trying my hardest to, to sort of offer what I can as like a co-guardian, I guess you could say. And yeah, and then in this next season, it's sort of us in lockdown trying to deal with the personalities and nothing but our own thoughts, in this crazy, weird lockdown world. And obviously, there's conflicts that arise from that. Nothing too intense, but we try to keep it light too because it is a comedy. But there's a lot of fun little twists and turns while we're in lockdown. So it's not totally like everyday monotony. He tries to switch it up a little bit, and I think he does a pretty good job.
Nice. And how would you describe your character of Alex?
Yeah, Alex, I'd say I'm gonna think of like three words. He's loyal, he's driven, and maybe a little stubborn, I'd say. Say that's one of the three. Yeah, he's loyal because he's always there for Nicholas, no matter what's happening. He will double down and help him out. He's driven in that, he wants to try to like help this family unit come together and like do whatever he can to try to make peace. He and Genevieve have a little bit of tension in the first season, and they kind of overcome that, though. It's kind of nice. They really do sort of like talk about it, and which is really real. Like if you have somebody who's coming in sort of as like a guardian figure, you're like, who is this dude? And like, why is he here all of a sudden? I think is what she says. um and then yeah, and then I think I think I said loyal, driven, and did I say passionate? What did I say? Loving? I don't know. I'm bored with the
Loyal, driven, and stubborn.
stubborn. There we go. There we go. Good memory, Sammy. And yeah, he's a little stubborn because he wants to make sure that he is being given the love that he gives, and so like a lot of times that's the source of the conflict between Nicholas. You'll notice sometimes I interchange our names, Nicholas and Josh, Alex and Adam. But yeah, like Nicholas and Alex, that's sometimes the source of their tension, is that like they're just trying to give what the other gives, like they're not always like on the same page about how to love, like different love languages, it's a thing. So yeah.
And what would you say was the biggest challenge about playing your character?
Uh, well, I have to say it's like it's a little bit easier because Josh has written to each of us. Like he literally specifically wrote each like character with an hour, like he did an hour or so Zoom interview of each of us, to make sure that like there were sort of like authentic experiences to our real lives, because we are pretty like adjacent to the characters, or parallel, I guess. And but I would say maybe the hardest thing was maybe like he tends to get angry pretty quickly, if like it escalates. Like you don't see it as much in this first season, but in the second season, with everything compounding, he tends to kind of make a meal out of everything, and I try not to do that in real life. I try to be like, think about this, don't make this a thing, don't like hold on to this. But like in the show, like it's like I really do kind of like Alex really does kind of like harp on things and tends to bring them up, until they are resolved, which I think is also part of the stubbornness. Like he's very also driven at making sure that like it is resolved. Like he does like peace, and if it doesn't quite fit, he gets kind of a little little antsy, a little out of sorts, you know. So yeah, he's very clean too. He's very good at cleaning things. You'll see in this next season.
He's almost like Monk now.
I know. I'm like, he's gonna start having a twitch. I mean, it's no inflections, just fully, yeah, fully Monk style. It'll be great. Tony Shalhoub is awesome.
We should get him to guest star.
That would be dope. He would be perfect. He's so quirky. Him and Spy Kids also would like kind of fully fit into the show because we have just such like weird, quirky characters that I feel like he'd be a really fun kind of addition one day.
Yes,
More like
yes.
who your mind is, Sammy. This is
I
great.
think we are, yeah, because not only was he fantastic in Monk, he was also on a show called Wings, and his character there was so completely opposite.
Character actor, man. He's
He's
so good.
fantastic.
I love
Yes.
him. I love Tony Shalhoub. He's awesome, man. That would be a really cool person to work with, actually.
Yeah. I don't know how we can fit him in, but we have to make it happen.
I love it. I love that you're brainstorming. I'll toss it into Josh too. He loves ideas. So we're
Nice,
looking for
nice.
new ideas to find. You know, Maria Bamford and Richard Kind are in this next season, and he was like he's like, I need some quirky people because we've got like pretty much a baseline of us as like the four main characters, but he's always like, people get bored of watching us over and over again. We got to add some things and we got to switch some things up. So he was very excited to get them in there because they add such a new dimension to everything, and especially when they come in during COVID and we do our little social distance hangs and stuff. They're very, very funny, and they added such a new dimension to this show, man. It's really going to be cool to see.
And speaking of people on the show, you have an incredible cast. Tell me about working with everyone. It's like an
Yeah.
all-star.
Yeah, it is really, I mean, Josh, he really finds authentic people, and like he really wants people who are realistically the way they might be as the characters. So he's very much under the auspices of like, these are not characters, these are just you and like an extension of you. So he doesn't really like when people go outside of that realm. He's very much like, I cast as I like see the characters, like if you fit the character naturally. And we had conversations like when we were in the audition process where they just like ask us about ourselves and, like see if we were, horrible to work with or not too, because that was a huge thing. He's like, I don't want to work with anybody who has like egos, because he really has no time for that, being like the showrunner, the main character, the director of like most of these episodes in the next season. So he was very much like, I don't want to worry about that extra element, of somebody being a diva. So we really lucked out. And Kayla's hilarious because she tells all these, funny ghost stories about, well, they're not funny, so they're very serious. But sometimes they'll be like, she'll be like, she'll bring a ghost meter to the studio. So she did that in the first season, which was really fun. We got to kind of experience that. I think it was a little broken, so she taped it together, but it has like a light and it lights up and stuff. And then Maeve, she's funny. She's like, we always say like 14 going on 40 because she's actually like not 40. She'll hate me for saying that, but she's older than 14. But she is just like wise wisdom beyond her years. So we love Maeve, and obviously Josh, we connect a lot too, just because have the most screen time together. So yeah, it's a good little crew of kids. We have a good time.
Yeah. So what about the adults that you work with? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, well, there's Maria, and then there's Richard. Oh my gosh, I have to say Penny is probably like my favorite character. I think that she's the funniest. She's got the quippiest. She plays Nicholas's mom, and her real name's Vivian Walsh, and she's actually, fun fact, a writer on the show too, and she writes all the scenes. She write all the scenes for Penny, and then like she was like an actor as well, and so Josh was like, yeah, let's throw you in there. And I just think she's hilarious. All the lines about getting her whole face lasered, and like she pretty much I feel like they have these railroad track scenes where it's like, I say they're like, they never intersect, they're always just parallel because she tends to not listen to anything Nicholas is saying. So I just think it's funny. He'll be talking about our relationship and she'll be talking about, like how the farmer's market is impacted because of COVID, like they're like never the two shall meet. And I always think those scenes are really funny and hard to memorize. So I commend them for doing that due diligence.
Nice. And
Yeah.
what else are you working on these days? Or is this show pretty much your baby now?
Yeah, well, I did that, and then I have like a Subway commercial coming out that I did, which will be pretty like funny. It'll be like like I don't know if I can talk much about it, but it's like a cute little like a sports person, and a sports person, an athlete, show how much I love sports, and that was really fun. And then I did like a video game voiceover that was really fun, and it's crazy with COVID, man. You got to like shoot inside your closet. And so you're just like in there. And then, if somebody flushes the toilet, it's like the whole take is done. So you're hoping that like not only on your floor, but like the floor above you, that like no one washes their hands. And because like, they hear the trickling of the water, so it's like, it was maddening, 5 hours of just recording like 500 lines of dialogue. But once we did it, we were like down to the crunch and we got them. So I was very excited about that. I was very impressed that we got that done in that amount of time. And so I've never done a video game before, so it should be pretty cool.
It's incredible. Congrats
Yeah.
on that.
Thank
Exciting.
you. Yeah, I'm excited to see how it turns out. I don't know if I'm allowed to like say what it is or anything, but it's like also queer too. So there's like, and like gender non-binary folks. And so it's pretty cool. Like I think it's like on the precipice, I hope, of like a new kind of type of video game that I hope like more and more people start, investing in.
Yeah, we're setting the bar and I cannot wait to see it. I'm
Yeah.
excited. We're opening up a new realm of video games. So I grew up with Super Mario and now we have this and I think it's incredible.
That's yes. We were just playing that, my boyfriend and I, because I got him a Nintendo Twitch. I don't know how to
Yeah, the Switch, yeah.
Yeah, I got a Switch, got him a Switch for his birthday, and we've been playing, and it's so fun. It's just getting the bearings of how to play it again is like wild, because I grew up playing Xbox and Wii and PlayStation. So I guess Nintendo has PlayStation and the Wii, but the controllers were really interesting to get into because they're these small little controllers, and it was like, whoa, this is wild technology, man. We have come a long way.
I have the original Nintendo, I think, still at my dad's. I think we still
Really?
have it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he didn't throw it out, but I'm like, I hope he still has it there so I can see if it works.
I hope so. And you hear the dreaded
Yes, exactly.
there's
That used to
something
be my
about that
ringtone for the
noise.
longest time.
Dude, there's something about those noises that somehow bring up anxiety as a kid that I like just never thought it could. I look back on those and I'm like, that noise, it just has there's such nostalgia to it. There's such meaning. And getting all those feelings again was kind of nice the other day, and bad.
I love it.
Yeah, you don't want to lose, but it was good.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, we're almost out of time, but I do want to ask you one more question. Tell me a fun fact about yourself that might surprise your fans.
Ooh, well, a fun fact actually is I know a sign language, American Sign Language, ASL. So I learned it maybe a few years ago to communicate with my friend Omar. And then Josh actually found out, and so this kind of ties into the show too. And he was interviewing us about our like experiences and stuff in life, and for the second season, and he was like, I want to add that in. So it's pretty cool. I do ASL in this next season, with my dad, who I'm playing a coda, which is a child of a deaf adult, and CJ Jones is going to be playing my dad, and he was I don't know if you remember him, but he's the dad and Baby Driver of Ansel Elgort. So it was very cool. Yeah, it was very, very awesome to work with him. Like I'm like a huge fan, and I told Josh, I was like, if you're gonna do this, you got to get CJ Jones. So it was like this whole limbo where we were so worried whether we'd get him or if he was available, because he's working on other shows too now. And he luckily agreed to it. And it was just such a cool experience, and like hearing his stories and how much he wants to do for the deaf community going forward, and especially the Black deaf community, because he was like, forget about it. Up until Baby Driver, there was hardly any roles for specifically Black deaf, folks. So it was like very, very cool that he sort of was on our show, and that, we could sort of talk about those experiences. And I feel like I try to be like a sponge and just absorb like every bit of information I can whenever I meet somebody, but especially ones I look up to. So it was really, really cool. And yeah, I'm so excited to see how those scenes turned out, and to see how people enjoy them and stuff, because it's a bond there, like it's a bond between a child and a parent. And when you add in the ASL, and we have a thing called SIMCOM, which is simultaneous communication. So that means like you're speaking and you're signing at the same time. So it's like it's just such a balance, and it's something that I sometimes have to do in real life. So it felt like really kind of cool to just drop into that and do it for the camera. So yeah, I'm excited to see how it turns out.
That's incredible. My sister has a degree in sign language, and when she first started in school, they would simcom. They would talk and sign at the same time. But
Wow.
she's so fast when she signs that I'm like, wait.
It's hard because they're syntax wise, they're not the same. So it's like, when people do it on a show or on TV or whatever, like, people like deaf folks are usually like, this is not the same. No wonder it doesn't match up, because like, the English sentence structure is different than the ASL sign.
That's exactly it.
Structure.
Yes.
So it's like she can probably sign faster than she can talk. Look at me. Because it's like it's truncated and it's meant to be purely, facial expressions, but purely non-verbal. So it's it's really interesting. I've learned so much. I took classes from this guy, Andrew Moore, and he deaf since birth, and he just taught me a lot about the culture. And that was really a really a fun experience, because I love learning about people. So and cultures, and and ASL has its own culture. The deaf culture is like
It's
its own.
incredible. Yeah. Did you get a sign name?
Yeah. So my sign name is Adam. So it's an A, and then it's like I have curly hair here. So my friend, actually in real life, his name's Tomas, and he is actually from Denmark, and he gave me that sign name. So in real life, but I wonder if in the sign, if he uses it. He doesn't use it in the show for my character, because it would probably be the same, because I'm Alex in the show and I'm Adam in real life. But he made up one for Nicholas, which was pretty cool. It's like this, and it's because this is Australia in sign
Okay.
language. And so he did like an N. So it's like a Nicholas. It's really cool. So, and it kind of looks like almost like a kangaroo or something too.
Yeah, I like that. I
So,
like that.
and these are
You should
Josh.
get you should get Marley Matlin on too, if speaking of sign.
Dude, I mean, she's so busy now. I probably couldn't even get her. You see all the stuff at the Oscars too? I'm so freaking excited for her, man. Like,
Yes.
she is really awesome. And seeing that speech that she made too in sign language, that was just really awesome. Back when she won for Children of a Lesser God. But
That was such a good movie.
oh my God, it's brilliant. And I feel so sad I only saw it in the past few years, because I feel like it's just it's a staple, and I think it taught a lot of people. And I'm excited for more movies with authentically deaf characters to be coming out. So hopefully there'll be more and more. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And where can we find you on social media?
Yeah. So my handle is at Adam Faison across all platforms. And yeah, I'm there. I try to post fun, random things. I'm big into, like I said, into history and learning about it. So I'm very big into sort of the 60s. I love Mama Cass and Bill Withers and the Beach Boys, specifically the Pet Sounds album. So I post about a lot of that stuff, and I'll sometimes do music covers of their songs and stuff too. So I try to switch it up and keep it fun and not so, like businessy or whatever. I don't know, but I try to switch it up and keep it a fun time. So yeah, that's me.
All right. We'll send you a follow. Thank you so much. I appreciate you and have a good weekend.
Thanks, Sammy. You too.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.